Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Pardon the long delay, I haven't done any videos in a while. Usually I like to do it outdoors. We've had a lot of crummy weather, but also I've been doing a lot of volunteer work in between. So there's some important special elections going on, and I'm just trying to do what I can to get the right people in place. And this relates to, of course, the decision that was made by the Supreme Court, a recent article that came out a few weeks back, which got my attention along with a lot of other media figures. And it was in regards to a case in Texas. You know, R.V. Wade. Well, there was a woman, her name was Kate Cox. She was 31 years old. She was a mother of two, and she was looking to have a third child. So naturally she was pregnant, again, by choice, a planned pregnancy. And what had happened was, and looking at my notes, 20 weeks into it, the fetus had developed some kind of a genetic condition. And the doctors pretty much said to her that the chances of this, baby surviving, unfortunately, is slim to none. And most importantly, trying to carry it to full term could also compromise her health, possibly her life, and also her fertility. It may be that she may not be able to have children, so that she seriously needed an abortion. This was a case of healthcare. And it was presented to court, and the judge allowed her to have the abortion legally. Okay? So, but then the Supreme Court, along with the Attorney General, a man by the name of Paxton, he appealed this to the Supreme Court in Texas, and they ruled against it. Against her having the abortion. They said no, she wasn't allowed to have it, even though she had gotten a judge's permission, even though there was, medical evidence and doctors recommending, saying she needs to get the abortion, that this child is not going to survive, and, it compromises her safety. They didn't want to hear it. And, the Supreme Court felt the risks weren't severe enough. And, in Texas, citizens are allowed to travel out of state for an abortion. And after a while, some of the deliberation going on, she felt she couldn't wait, on the Supreme Court. It's like they made up their minds, but they were still deliberating, even though she went to another state and did get the abortion. So all was well. But it's the fact that she had to do it, and that this was a case where it was a necessity. It wasn't a case of, well, she just decided to get an abortion for the hell of it. Okay, she needed it. It was a form of health care. But yet, once again, we got conservative judges, and this Attorney General, Ken Paxton, is an absolute swine, and just created a problem where a problem didn't need to be. Texas has 3 abortion laws, with zero clarity, and that's by design. And one thing I was reading up about it is that some doctors can face malpractice on one side, there are felony charges on the other. We've come into that point where in a case like this, or also in other cases of like rape victims who get raped, the victim has a greater chance of being imprisoned than the rapist itself, assuming they even catch the rapist. That doctors who try and do the right thing, also they could face malpractice and even prison time. And so, unfortunately, they're put in a tough position where they don't want to risk their life and their freedom to save a life. And again, these people are always going to make some pro-life argument, which is absolutely ludicrous, because again, this is just another case about control. Not trying to solve problems, not trying to prevent problems from happening, but just stripping away rights and using like the religion and pro-life excuses as a means to justify it. There is no justification for this. What the Supreme Court did in Texas was wrong. What Ken did was wrong. But, at least in her case, she was able to get the health care that she needed. What if it's in the event of, if it's a poor family that can't afford to travel out of state? What then? How exactly is that helping her life? Does her life not matter in this cold equation? Again, this is all part of the Supreme Court itself for Roe v. Wade. And the one thing I've always, suggested is, I wish Joe Biden, while he has the opportunity, puts in more Supreme Court judges, tries to get this overturned now. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, or I don't know if he has any plans, especially with the up-and-coming election. But until then, we have to deal with this problem for a long time, and I don't understand why some of these people why does the GOP, why do conservatives hate women so much? That's what it looks like to me. Doesn't look like they're trying to do the right thing. It doesn't look like they're trying to do anything for the sake of life. They just want to keep control of women, bring us back to the dark ages at times, and, if women suffer as a result of it, if they die as a result of it, so be it. I know in the past people like Mike Johnson, who's the current Speaker of the House, another religious nutjob, has put out the argument about, well, in the long run we can save more children. It's like it's a numbers game. He's doing it like that. Here's an interesting hypothetical which somebody said. I think I heard it on TikTok, but let's say me and my wife, we went to a fraternity clinic, and there was another family there that brought their daughter, and daughter ran off, and then a fire broke out. Now I'm in the hallway and I see their daughter, on one side, and on the other side there's a canister of 10,000 frozen embryos ready to go. They just need to be artificially inseminated into a woman, and then boom, you got some life. I can't take both. So do I take the daughter, or do I take the 10,000 embryos? Now if it's one of these conservative pro-lifers, according to them, I should forget about their daughter and just go for the canister of embryos. Somehow, I don't think the parents would be too understanding. If I explain that to them, I could say, hey, but look, I'm sorry I couldn't save your daughter, but I saved all these other lives and everything, so this is a good thing. It's pro-life, isn't it? No, that makes no sense. And for the record, I would have saved the daughter. Be nice if I could have saved both, but, the idea is not what's possible. The idea is, the reality is, it is not pro-life, it is anti-abortion. It is forced birth, it is trying to strip away the rights of women, and it ain't gonna stop there. So, it's gonna take quite some time to fix this, if it ever gets fixed. And this is some of the cases that we hear about. It's the cases that we don't hear about. Don't think for 1 minute this is some isolated incident. There's also been incidents of, young girls, teens, like at the age of 13, who get impregnated because of rape or incest and are forced to carry the rapist's child. Yet I know for a fact, like Ken or these members of the Texas Supreme Court, if it was one of their children, they begin the abortion. They'd have to go out of state, but they'd still be doing it. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.